Wow. Sweep. Mets got a sweep. 4-game winning streak. Thank God. The Angels fans on the internet hate me because I talk a lot of trash. I talk a lot of trash about the American League teams in general. Angels are one of my favorite to take shots at over on my Twitter, Draft Neck Mark. Follow me there. But yeah, sweep by the Mets. Was it pretty? No. Was it clean? No, not at all. But did the Mets beat the Angels because they're a better team? Oh, 100%. And we will talk about everything that was going on there. The bats woke up a little bit at times. I mean, it's still the Mets. It's still the Eric Chavez school of hitting, so they can't get too hot. But they scored more runs than they had previously against Cincinnati Reds. And I mean, this Angels pitching's horrible. So I'm glad that they were able to at least swing the bat effectively at times during this series. We've also got a little bit of a media marvel for you guys coming up. We have Daniel Murphy coming on the podcast tomorrow morning. We're recording with him. So that episode will be out, I believe, on Friday, maybe Saturday for you guys, depending on when we want to drop it. We're going to talk like 30 minutes of hitting with him. So make sure you are subscribed to the YouTube channel, Mets'd Podcast, so you can see the video version of that. If you want to listen to us on your commute to work, wherever you're going to be, maybe you're taking a trip this weekend, Mets'd Podcast on Google, Spotify, iTunes. What's the other one? Apple Podcasts.
iTunes.
I'm changing it up.
The Time Machine.
But regardless, follow us. We do appreciate it. And social media at Mets'd on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. James, a little bit of a late night episode. Feels like the series ended 8 hours ago because it did. We are recording at midnight. But how are we feeling coming off this sweep after what was a weird series against the Reds?
I'm feeling good. You almost put me to sleep with the longest intro ever, but this was these games. I said in like the notes I drop on Twitter after every game. These wins felt like the shitty games that we were winning like in April and May. When I know we're a better team. We don't usually act like it, but when the other team did wind up making a mistake or two, that was when we took our opportunities and pounced on them. That is what this series felt like. We got, at least towards the end of the series, big contributions from the top of the order. We got, again, similar to the beginning of the season, good starting pitching in this series, oddly enough, from relatively unlikely sources, everyone besides Kodai Senga. And it was just, you kind of let the other team make mistakes, and then when they make them, you take advantage of that, because this Angels team is putrid defensively, one of the worst I've seen all season. Keith and Ron let them know that too many times in these broadcasts, but just a good, solid series where you come out with a sweep. When's even the Mets last sweep?
The Rockies?
Jeez, I'll scroll and get that right now.
Is that the last one when they beat the crap out of the Rockies or the Nationals? Maybe?
I think it was. Mets are also the last team to beat the Blue Jays in a 3-game series, unless they lost again today. The Brewers in a 3-game series, unless they lost again today. I haven't checked that one back, but the Mets' last sweep was the Nationals on June 10th through 12th at home.
Yes, that's way over a month ago. Nice.
Yeah, good. Right before Pride Night. Love that. But it was, again, just a good series. Like, we were better and we acted better. And a big driving force in being better this series was the return of Francisco Alvarez. And his bat, especially on Monday and Tuesday, really pushing us to these victories.
Yeah, he is so back. You texted me when the call-up happened. You're like, I think he's just back. I think
I texted you last week.
Was it that long ago? I thought it was like right before the call-up.
It was when I saw him do the toe tap pull home run over the batter's eye, or straight away center field batter's eye in Syracuse. I was like, I feel something. I see something in his eyes. I think that's it. He's ready to go.
You would be correct, because if you look at all his batting stance statistics over on Baseball Savant, he is 15 degrees open again. He is in the same spot he was in the box. He's backed up off the plate, and he's taking absolute daddy hacks. The swing speed is way up from where it was on the season averages. And right now, even on Savant, because Alvarez still doesn't have that many swings, it's been going up steadily. Right now, it's at 73.6. But I think before even this series, it was a little bit lower, and he took multiple swings around like 77, 78 miles an hour. It's fantastic to see Francisco Alvarez at least appear to be back in his old form. When we fell in love with him as a prospect, when everybody in baseball did, and went, wow, this guy has the chance to be something special, he was pulling the baseball, he was taking his big fucking hacks, and he was hitting the ball hard. And that's exactly what he did this series, which was so amazing to see.
So amazing, especially as that game moved along on Monday. It felt like more of the same old, where it was like, oh, we can't buy a hit against Tyler Anderson, who's a certified Mets killer. Baty did get us off the schneid, but then it was that big double by Alvarez late. First, it was actually the walk by Alvarez. A lot of people are glossing over that walk, and it was that 7th inning walk where, again, it was still Tyler Anderson pitching. I texted you like as a very intentional jinx.
Oh, really?
I was like, Tyler Anderson this guy hasn't gone through 7 innings all year. This is ridiculous. And we were just chirping about that. But He works that tough walk, not really tough walk. Kind of just missed with 4 pitches, but good on Alvarez not to swing. That started the entire rally because then Acuna got the single, Nimmo got hit by the pitch. Lindor had the RBI fielder's choice. Then he stole second. For some reason, unbeknownst to me, why the Angels. Logan O'Hoppe is a bit of a disaster behind the plate, but still, in a 2-run game, throwing down to second, I care much more about that guy in second than the guy on third. To not even attempt to throw, and then allow Juan Soto to have the entire middle of the field to himself, leave that hole open while also not making throw to second base. Boom, that's it. Tie the game, and now you're like, big moment of exhale to kind of set the table for Alvarez again later.
Yeah, it was really nice. Shout out Steven. You guys may remember him from the working during the Mets days. He was our favorite security guard at Citi Field. Absolute legend. We went to his barbecues after games. Steven is an ultimate 10 out of 10 vibes guy. And I was at the game. I was doing some filming and stuff that I had to do for a sponsor. Shout out Mumu. And I was not in a great mood because I was like, I'm here. They're playing like shit. Tyler Anderson is locking us down. We were playing sloppy defense. That ball down the corner, that Nimmo overthrew Lindor. Lindor made the horrendous throw then to home. The guy got another base. Mets were playing bad, unwatchable defense. My phone was dying, so I had to charge my phone at one of those tables in the back corner by the Shea Bridge. I was like, this is such a shit fucking night. I hate this game. I was texting James, texting my dad. I was in such a bad mood, and I was like, you
were
know what?
alone too, right?
Yeah, I was alone. So that even worse.
Missed softball?
I was just stewing. I was just stewing mad. I was like, I got to change the vibe around. I'm going to go walk around. Steven, I know, is a security guard out, and I believe it's the Caesars Sportsbook Lounge out in left field, that big glass thing by the foul pole. And I'm walking, and I see him, and I'm like, you know what? I just need to go say what's up to Steven, break it up, change things around. Saw him, incredible vibes. From that moment on, the Mets got the huge play. I didn't even know because I was talking with him that Brett Baty made that great play at the plate to get Mike Trout in the 7th inning to get the Mets out of the jam. You told me about that earlier.
A fine play at the plate. It was just a play at the plate that the way I was describing to you, that a winning team and a good player makes. And we'll definitely talk a lot about Baty more in this episode because he just kind of keeps ascending. And again, his home run did kind of let the team breathe, kind of get the monkey a bit off our backs early in this game. Crush that ball, just pulling the ball with authority.
But yeah, I spoke to Steven.
Yeah.
That play happened. Come back out. I find my little spot where I stand the entire rest of the game. I don't move inside the pole that I was in, even though I could have had a better view because I'm so superstitious. Mets put up all those runs. Alvarez then hits that double because Chris Taylor's in right field for the Los Angeles Angels in the year 2025. This Angels team, we'll talk about a little bit more from a roster construction standpoint, is baffling because they're so aggressive with their young guys, but then you have Chris Taylor, who shouldn't be on a major league team, Kevin Newman, these guys still sticking around, which is crazy. But it was amazing to see. It was such a nice comeback, and it really did, I feel almost lift a little bit of a weight off the Mets players' shoulders a little bit. Felt like they got a little loose in that moment.
I think a big weight off the Mets players' shoulders because, again, baseball, would Yogi Berra say it's 90, what percent mental, what percent physical? 90% mental, 50% physical.
Yeah.
This team was kind of trapped. They kind of couldn't get out of their own way. Sometimes you just need things to break your way, things to go right. You kind of have to get lucky a little bit. That's kind of what baseball is about. Can't even think about how many times we caught breaks last season on that magical run. How many little things have to go your way. So when little things like this go your way, again, that 7th inning, Alvarez works a leadoff walk. Luis Angel Acuna hits a well-placed ground ball, and then Brandon Nimmo gets hit by a pitch. Then you get a fielder's choice in the right spot, a stolen base for no reason. Then your best player gets the big RBI single that you need. You get the snowball effect happening, and that's when the confidence builds, which this team kind of seems like they oddly desperately need right now is confidence, which was the crux of our whole conversation last week. Shout out all you guys for dealing with Mark and I's dual temper tantrums last Monday.
People kind of liked it, though, I think, though.
I think people liked it.
A lot of the comments were on my side there, big guy.
I know. Well, think about the YouTube comment section. Tip the cap to you for that one.
Come on, I'm a YouTube master.
And Danny Murphy liked it too. That's why I had that conversation began to now have him coming on the podcast tomorrow. But this team they were so damn tight, and they needed some bullshit to happen and go their way to kind of loosen up. And then especially, I love that the whole thing was underscored by Juan Soto hitting the ground ball to second base. He always hits, but no one was standing there. When that ball came off his bat, I was like, shit. And then it went through. I was like, yes, yes. Hell yeah, perfect.
It was just again, we hit it right there. Their defensive positioning is crazy too. No one gets to any balls on that infield at all. Yeah, it's pen and paper. It's Ray Montgomery went to Fordham. He's a smart guy, but I guess maybe they're still operating, like you said, with pen and paper. It's crazy how that team operates. Again, Kevin Newman and Chris Taylor and even Lamont Wade getting as much playing time as he is. It's kind of nuts. But then they'll bring Neto up. They'll bring Shanwell up. They'll play Joe Adell every single day. They'll bring up Ben Joyce and Ryan Johnson, who never even pitched a game in the minor leagues ever in his career. But then they have these retreads, and you're like, I can understand some of the decision-making, but then this That's baffling. And Chris Taylor in right field at the end of the game. I know Mike Trout's hurt. He can't play the outfield. He's been DHing. How is there no other outfield option that can play right field than Chris Taylor in this entire organization?
I mean, Joe Adell's playing center. This team definitely doesn't prioritize defense. And it was, also, the whole thing happened. We took the lead on a regular ground ball. Basically the same play that Brett Baty made the inning before. Ground ball, Yohan Moncada hit by Ronnie Mauricio. Kind of a bad piece of hitting by Ronnie. He didn't really, he kind of took, he didn't swing at a bad pitch. It was a slider right in the zone, but he didn't, I'm trying to find my words here. It was just a bad piece of hitting early in the count in a situation where all you need was a fly ball to take the lead in this game. And he did get bailed out by Moncada, who somehow, it wasn't also the worst throw ever. Ohapi just completely whiffed on it as well. He's trying to snap back for the tag before it got to him.
As good as Ohapi is at hitting for power, because that is his calling card clearly, he's got legit pop in that bat. He is a complete butcher behind the plate. He's horrible back there.
Very bad. And that was a bad play. And then the opposite of this, which is, what's going to happen in the lineup when you go from 9-1. Brandon Nimmo, great piece of hitting right after that. Took also, I think it was a slider in the zone, also from our guy Brock Burke. Yeah, it was a slider in the zone. He just served at the outfield, got the insurance run, kind of let all of us breathe, and then Edwin Diaz comes out, strikes out the side, and that was that was an exalting win on Monday night.
Time for a quickie break. Todd Father and I are going to tell you about Huel, but it's mostly going to be Todd Father because I'm going to take a sip.
Well, we're talking about Huel, 27 vitamins and minerals. It's a complete meal. Let's listen. We all have busy schedules. As Scott's sipping it down, it looks delicious. It tastes delicious. When we're on the run, we need something to eat quick. And guess what? Huel is there. All different flavors. Scotty loves them. I love them. And I love how variety-packed it is, and we can eat them any time of the day.
That's right. Yeah, check out the website. There's bars. There are so many different flavors. I love the black edition. Chocolate, 35 grams of protein. There's strawberry shortcake, coffee caramel, cookies and cream. I can go on. And you get yourself 15% off if you're a new customer using the code FOUL at Huel.com/foul. Please see our description for the terms and conditions. Skip the stress, not the nutrition. Try Huel today for complete nutrition with the code FOUL at Huel.com/foul.
Understated too in this game, the Mets fans. Just a casual standing ovation for Francisco Alvarez in his first step back from the minor leagues. I don't think that was anything that was planned. I didn't see it discussed on social media. The reason I did it, I saw people around me. Alvarez gets announced up. I was giving him a big round of applause, but everyone started saying, I'm like, you know what? Let's go. Let's hype up Francisco Alvarez. He's 23 years old. His own coach, his own hitting coach said, you stunk when you had arguably one of the best years a catcher's ever had at the age of 21. Debatably, ever. And your own coach said you stunk. I'm down to bump him up, boost him up. Shout out JP Arencibia as well, getting him right and being pumped for him on Instagram. Must be nice to have a coach that has your back.
After the game, Alvarez said to the media that ovation really helped him feel better, feel more comfortable, gave him some more confidence. Again, that confidence led to being on base 3 times, being in the middle of the 2 rallies that helped us win this game. Also, I just have to say this every single time we talk about Alvarez the rest of the season. When Cal Raleigh was Alvarez's age, he had never taken at bat at AAA.
I love
so
that.
just to continue to put the perspective out there for how young Francisco Alvarez is and how much more time he still has to be great.
Even if you want to take out from the scope of like being a catcher as young as he is, doing what he's doing, Joe Adell was a horrendous player at the major league level for 4 seasons, going on 5. And this year he was a borderline all-star, a guy who's crushing the baseball, playing really, really well for the Angels, a guy who's going to be a part of that future team for sure. He's a piece now, and it took him forever to figure it out.
Or a real-ass trade chip because he's a really good player that a lot of teams definitely go after this year. But I do think the Angels, just because they're close to being in it, are going to just burn, baby, burn, and try to do whatever they can to get one of these American League wildcard spots.
Moreno.
Because those wildcard spots are up for grabs. But also, I do want to say, we're saying this, Brett Baty, right in front of our eyes, 25 years old, finally taking the step forward and blossoming as a player. Baty in the last month, it's like a 900 OPS.
So good, dude. He's so good. The swings are violent, which I absolutely love. We know he has one of the best bat speeds in the game. And what happens when you swing the bat fast, James, and you hit the baseball?
Goes far.
Goes far, hit hard. He's got 4 homers in the last 30 games. He's got 10 RBIs. He's got a 340 on base, 460 slugging. Like, he has just turned into an everyday major league player. The OPS has creeped up to 720 right now. And again, if you take away that putrid, awful spell that he had at the start of the year, he's having a fantastic season for this Mets team. Better than we even asked for with the low expectations coming into the season.
So coming into the game on Wednesday, Baty, since he got called back up, so taking away the horrible putrid spell he had to start, then also taking away the week and a half of good ball he had before getting sent back down for McNeil, that ended with, ironically, that home run off of Zach Wheeler, where we were like, maybe, I don't know,
right?
maybe. But since then, we've got 61 games, 760 OPS, 10 home runs, 4 stolen bases.
That's fantastic. And playing great defense, and not just third base, second base as well. Those are two very different positions that guys don't typically play at the same time in the same season.
Remember, he didn't even see a 3-ball count until like the third week of the season, let
we
alone draw a walk.
We celebrated. We're like, and Ron and Gary talked about that on the broadcast. They were like, man, the like growth of Baty, even just inside the season. They're like, remember every time he got to the plate, you looked, you're like, 0-2. Now he's getting ahead. Now he's punishing pitches in the zone. He's just turned into a very good baseball player.
And while he's had that big, almost 900 OPS over basically the last month of play, it's with a decreasing strikeout rate and a rising walk rate. Brett Baty still isn't the guy that makes the best swing decisions in the league. He still sometimes lets a few too many pitches go. He still sometimes expands his zone a little bit too much. But the fact that he's so good right now just simply with the bat, like the hit tool right now is the thing that's shining through. It's actually an 18% strikeout rate and 10% walk rate over that last month. If Brett Baty can sit there and be a 20, 25 homer guy with great defense at third base, he could be a forever Met if he can maintain those things for the next
this
decade.
Is your forever Met, Brett
I'm saying, like,
Baty?
it's just insane if he can actually sustain. I don't think he's not going to be a 900 OPS guy. I don't think that's ever in the cards for Brett Baty. But just like these little tiny incremental gains in the plate discipline, in the swing decisions, because he does still have top of the league power. Like, that's the beauty of Brett Baty. As bad as everything got, he still hit the ball hard as fuck. He still has some of the best bat speed in the league, with the peaks of bat speed up there with the top bat speed guys in the league, with the average still being there as well. It's just, there's so many things he does well. It really just comes down to the moments of hot and cold when he's actually putting the bat in the ball versus not putting the bat in the ball. But that's all saved by the great defense.
This is a Brett Baty podcast. And it
has always been.
Never wasn't. It's always been a Brett Baty podcast. Don't forget it.
They called me a madman in February for saying that Brett Baty was going to have a better, more valuable player than Mark Vientos this season. They called me crazy. Sometimes I am crazy. But also, one more thing before we totally move on from Francisco Alvarez, I want to wedge in a little media marvel here because it plays off of his promotion, it plays off of the ovation, and it plays off of some of the stuff from David Wright over the weekend. So there's a tweet from friend of the podcast, Timothy Ryther, formerly of Mesmerize. Great Ryther podcaster. Tim's the best. He said, we were both at the David Wright game on Saturday, so we didn't get to watch any of the coverage on television, any of the stuff that Gary, Keith, Ron, Gelb, especially when David Wright got to the booth during that game. But Tim posted a quote that Steve Gelb said that I thought was very interesting and actually just completely outright wrong. That's why he's this week's media marvel. So this is a quote from Tim. Gelb just said something along the lines of, this being a fan base who notoriously doesn't have players' backs during bad times. Could not disagree more. This is a fan base who has stuck out 60-plus seasons of mostly bad baseball. We are the epitome of having our teams back. That's dead on true. This Mets fan base always has the players' backs. I can't believe that Steve Gelb said that on SNY's airwaves. And we saw it absolutely crystal clear on Monday night when Francisco Alvarez, who's been much maligned if you just spend all of your time on Twitter, people quitting on him, people hating on him. 23 years old. I'll say it again. Cal Raleigh never had that bat at AAA when he was 23 years old.
Adley Rushman was still doing kickoffs for Oregon State, I think.
I mean, Adley Rushman probably already had osteoporosis by the time he's 23 years old. That guy's old. That guy's body's disintegrating in front of our eyes. But Francisco Alvarez comes up to the plate, and like you said, the Mets fans just naturally give him an ovation. He comes in after the game, after having a big game, saying that ovation helped him, made him feel confident, made him feel comfortable. Like that's perfect fandom right there. Like that's what the team's all about. This place was packed, this entire homestand. Like, it's just fucking awesome that we have this great of a fan base here again.
Yeah, no, I mean, Mets fans are awesome. That's such a bad take and bad quote by Gelbs. It's like that's a guy who hasn't really been watching Mets baseball what seems like his entire life. So I'll leave it at that.
Someone who started watching Mets baseball in 2015.
When he was getting paid to, yeah.
Yeah, and again, what have we been talking about for the last month before we start moving on here, talking about other games? How badly this Mets lineup needs a right-handed power hitter. Just please, Francisco Alvarez, if you be the right-handed power hitter, you will make us all so happy. It'd be so perfect.
The Exavilas have been great already. He's hitting balls 104, 108. He's peppering the ball over the place. Again, the swing speed is way up. He's back to his old stance. It's all great.
You also missed this one. Did this one happen on Monday or Tuesday? But Alvarez was taking some war hacks in one of those at-bats, either right before the home run or right before the double. And Keith was like, settle down, young man, settle down. Like, you don't want to be taking too big of a swing here. And then, it was Tuesday, because then bang, pull side home run.
I want everyone to take war hacks. It is physically known that if you swing the bat harder, and you hit the ball, it is going to be hit harder. This is what the Red Sox have been preaching to all their prospects. This is what smart teams do. This is what good players do. If you look at swing speeds, you look at exit velos, you look at success, they're usually pretty aligned with each other. You can find guys that swing hard and don't play well. You can find guys that are swinging the bat as slow as noodles, like Jacob Wilson, but have an 860 OPS. Obviously, guys can change, but for guys on this team specifically, I want them swinging the bat hard, and one of them being Mark Vientos. Now, we know that Mark Vientos swings through the water. The bat looks so incredibly heavy when this guy is up at the plate, especially this season. And we know that his swing speed has been down. He has a 28th percentile swing speed right now in Major League Baseball at 70.8. I did some research because, again, watching him play has been infuriating to me recently. And, James, you said it best on the text. I know you're mad when you start looking up stats. And, boy, did I get some stats for you. But I'm going to come out of this positive. This is where the spin zone is going to come for Vientos. So in baseball, for guys who swing the bat as slow as he does, there's almost nobody that swings and misses as much as he does as well. Guys who swing this slow usually make elite levels of contact. They don't hit the ball well. They don't make elite contact, but they put the ball in play consistently. Mark Vientos does not. Now, that being said, these 3 games against the Angels, Mark Vientos hit the ball hard a couple times on Wednesday, barreled up a couple baseballs before he came out of the game, took some good swings in the first 2 games as well when he got the opportunity. And if you look at the exit velos plus his swing speed, the swing speed was like 76, 77 at times, which is 6-7 miles per hour higher than it currently is. If there was ever anything that we needed to know about Mark Vientos and his success, he needs to swing the bat harder. The whiffs are fine if you're taking big hacks, but you can't be looking to hit ground balls like he did on that double play. Took a 65-mile-an-hour swing. That's one of the slowest swings in Major League Baseball. Hit a double play on an 0-1 pitch. Swing the bat hard. Don't get cheated, Mark.
Even on that 66-mile-an-hour swing for that double play that completely zapped out what was about to be a rally, he still hit the ball 98 miles an hour.
Yeah.
We still believe in Mark Vientos, just the bat, on this show. Like, we still believe that Mark Vientos can be a good hitter. I think that's still inside of him.
Way too strong. Like, the exit velos last year were great. He hit a ball 113 last year in 2023. He hit a ball 114.9. Like, those are top level exit velos. He just actually has to go up there and, truthfully, I think say fuck the swing and miss. Who cares? When the pitch is in the zone, I'm going to absolutely crush it.
You'll love this. Mark Vientos' hardest swing this season, it was actually against the Blue Jays back in April. 85.9 miles an hour. His only swing this year over 85 miles per hour. It was a swing and miss strikeout.
Sure, of course. When you swing hard, you do swing and miss a lot. That is a big thing that happens. Your bat's in the zone for less time, so you're less likely to make consistent contact in terms of putting the ball in play. But when you hit the baseball, it's hit harder. And I think for Vientos, who's striking out at the bottom third of the league right now, he doesn't walk. He's already swinging and missing. Why not go up there and not get cheated, man? That's my entire thing with Vientos, and it feels like it's always been. Don't get cheated.
That kind of should be the whole thing, especially Mark Vientos. And last year, just quickly doing like a rough search of his swing speeds from last season, there was a much higher gradient of those swing speeds above 75 miles an hour, which I believe is the line that constitutes a fast swing on Baseball Savant. So it just kind of comes down to that, like him actually being able to swing the bat hard. But I also think part of these whole things is because bat speed, we've talked about bat speed a lot. Like since we've gotten this data from Baseball Savant, it's really been like the most important, I think, sightline into hitting that we've had as, I don't know, content creators, analysts over the last couple of years.
Yeah.
Part of that definitely comes from the counts you're getting and the confidence you have. Like I talked about Jesus Sanchez in my last YouTube video this week about hitters I think are going to break out in the second half. He this year has always had amazing bat speed, but this year he's just pushed it up even a little bit. But it's been pushed up at the same time that he's drawn more walks. He struck out less often. He stopped swinging and missing at breaking balls. He's behind in the count less often. I think that's also part of the thing with Vientos, the whole thing that was working against Baty earlier in the season. Like the bat speed, and also, from playing baseball, you can only take those war hacks when it's time to take those war hacks.
Yes.
That's the whole point of it. You can't take a war hack like that in 0-2 pitch, or if you do like Mark Vientos, you're going to look like an idiot half the time. So like it's all about getting in situations. And what made Vientos so good last year was winning that cat and mouse game so often, which is why I felt some confidence in him in that series against the Orioles. It felt like he was back doing that cat and mouse thing. But it's so much. It's all so interconnected with him. And it's very hard to see him breaking out of it. Because again, when he had those two today in the game on Wednesday, I'm trying to find the counts right now. I can't find them. But that double, I'm pretty sure he was ahead in the count on that double. The line out that he hit him, I'm not positive. But it's just, he has to, it all comes together. He can't just go up there being like, I'm going to swing as hard as I can every single pitch. He should a little bit. But also, like, he needs to have the building blocks and get the foundation to give himself the chance to swing super hard again.
Are you saying that Mark Vientos doesn't really have much of an approach?
Yeah, I am. Oh,
Saying.
remember what I said last? I never talked about Mark Vientos last episode. You were talking about the best hitters. I actually said specifically, don't cast Mark Vientos onto my takes. Also, I'm sorry that you guys saw that I was a Chavez defender last episode. I was more just anti-Mark than pro Chavez by a lot. That was kind of the whole crux.
I mean, you guys can't listen to an hour episode of just two of me. Like, that would be insane. There's got to be a little yin and yang here.
I mean, that's kind of the whole point. That's the beauty of the show. But just moving on, because we've done, basically only one game in 30 minutes here,
but
more or less.
The other ones are not nearly as interesting, I feel like, because that kind of got things going.
I think Tuesday's game was pretty interesting, but for both some good and bad reasons. Just starting with some good, I think it's a real good time to start gaining a bit of confidence in Frankie Montas. I think there was a lot of fear, and I think even I'm sad that I fell by the wayside a little bit as one of the number one Frankie Montas defenders on the internet over the last few years before he was ever even close to being a Met. But even after a bad first two innings where the Angels were just spraying the ball over the field, putting guys on base left and right, again, he settles in. We got Frankie fastballs leading with that sinker, but not so much Frankie fastballs in this one because he went away from that four-seamer. And this was the first start where I feel like he felt very confident in his splitter, his slider, and his sweeper. Maybe the second or third one with the sweeper, but just those two sliders specifically. He did a great job of using them against hitters from both sides of the plate. That slider, too, specifically, the one that's like a little bit tighter, he put one or two of them on the back feet of the Angels lefties. He was dropping a couple of those backdoor sweepers, but the Angels aren't like a talented or cunning enough team to be like platooning guys. So they can't load up a lineup with lefties against a guy like Frankie Montas, who'd definitely rather face righties. But those sliders were just he was nailing that low and away spot over and over and over and over again while he was jamming that sinker in on the righty's hands. So they're both looking like they're going to be right down the middle of pitches. The sinker comes into the hands, the slider ducks just below the plate. Like it was the best execution of those two pitches I think we've seen him have. And I think it was because he got to get in a groove because the Angels didn't play enough lefties against him.
Yeah, and the fact that, the one mistake pitch was to Jorge Soler when he hit that absolute missile to left field, which also crazy. The Angels actively chose to trade Griffin Canning for him and his contract, and then don't play Jorge Soler every day is also nuts.
Well, I think Mike Trout getting hurt again, then being like, we're just going to DH him every single day. I think also bad foresight.
Yeah, play him in right field, though. I mean, shit, like Chris Taylor, Lamont Wade? Come on.
Did you see the play that Soler made on Wednesday when he just lollygagged that Brett Baty single?
That looked like it was hit to him, and he just let it drop.
And then he left the game the next inning with back tightness, which I'm sure he did have back tightness, but also was like, all right, now I know why you can never use this guy in the outfield. But
that guy's got to always be tight.
Tight. Got another great note from our guy Rob, friend of the program, fellow Union County fella. You remember that outing a few starts ago when everyone was like, Frankie Montas said he was tipping his pitches, and they solved that?
Yes.
If you take that away, where he gave up 6 runs on 6 hits with 1 walk in those first 2 innings, outside of that, Montas has a 2.70 ERA with a 1.1 WHIP over 23 innings.
Dare I say it? I won't. I won't just say it yet, but boy, oh boy, Frankie Montas looking pretty okay. I'll at least say that.
And the Mets, I think, got a lot of shit earlier this season because our pitching was just kind of we were pitching well, but we kind of knew we were treading water the whole time with this rotation. And Jesus Luzardo on the Phillies was just ripping left and right, and a lot of people were pissed that they got him for Starlin Caba, who, for all intents and purposes, looks like not a very good baseball player.
Cares,
Someone I'd be shocked if they ever have a 95 WRC plus at the major league level in any individual season. Now Luzardo's ERA is about 5, and now we got Frankie Montas. We got a good half season from Griffin Canning. Like it does.
Severino's pitching like shit.
It's always we got to just preach patience with David Stearns because he just knows things that we don't. It's something to trust. That being said, for some reason in this game, Ryan Stanek got a second save opportunity in 3 days.
Yeah, I don't even really understand how that can possibly happen.
I don't either. Was down in a good situation. Did get through it after just a lot of chaos and nonsense. Got another splitter whiff. We're stacking up like one splitter whiff. No, that was Sunday. I don't actually know if he got one this game, but we're stacking up. Single digit splitter whiffs as much as we can get them, as much as we keep going. But this still kind of brings us back to the trade deadline, as kind of most discussions lead us back to at this point. David Stearns did some media availability on Monday before the series began. Credit to him for going in front of the mic at a time when the reporters and the fans were ravenous with anger. And he basically said just contritely, like, we're looking to add multiple relievers to this bullpen. Like, we know it's a problem. We're going to add. And kind of insinuating that they're more likely to add volume relievers than, like, the hammer reliever over the top.
But also, we got some news today as well that the Mets have been involved in trade talks possibly with Dylan Cease and the Padres, because apparently Cease is on the move. The Padres are looking to move Cease because he has the expiring contract to try and get back more major league caliber players to fill out the roster, because it is a very shallow roster. There's like, similarly to the Angels, like 7 or 8 major league baseball players on that team.
I mean, if you guys,
pitching wise, they're good.
If you guys have ever seen like the meme that's just been around forever, where it's like the really nice horse drawing of like where the back of the horse is like shaded and lovely and colorful.
I thought you were gonna talk Bugatti in the fucking like
that one too.
Garage. Yeah.
No, but this is one. I mean, it's the front of the horse and the back of the horse that's not drawn. I think the back of the horse looks really nice. The front of the horse is a stick figure. That's the Padres. That's the whole roster. Yeah, so they're looking to trade Dylan Cease. Apparently, Mets are checking in. What do you think about Dylan Cease? In, out? What do you want? Could not be more in. I'm remarkably on Dylan Cease. I think he's been truthfully like one of the unluckiest pitchers in all of baseball this season. Like he's having a disaster season that I don't think he's deserved in any way, and I would be the front of the line to trade for him. But I do think he's a strange trade asset, because in trading for Dylan Cease, you kind of have to decide in the moment what you think of Dylan Cease and whether or not you'd even offer him the contract extension you think he'd want, because you're giving up pieces to get a couple of months of Dylan Cease. You'd have to do that with the concept that you would be willing to drop down the money to sign him afterwards. Yes, and the fact that I think because of what the Padres are looking for, it would involve moving one of the group, Mauricio. Vientos, Baty, Mauricio, Acuna. And then if it's Acuna or Vientos, you're probably moving some prospects maybe as well, maybe like a Drew Gilbert and some other guys, where if you trade a Mauricio, it might be a little bit less on the other side of things. It might just be Mauricio. But also, I mean, maybe Mauricio and a lower level prospect. Or, again, like if it could be Vientos and basically any prospect that's not Tong or McLean or Bench or Jet, I would probably do that. Even without re-signing him. Just because the fact that if you get Dylan Cease, now I'm significantly more confident what this team could do to get to the playoffs and in the series themselves. But I'm very in on Cease. I mean, I don't give a fuck about that ERA. Like I can't. He's still striking all the guys out. The velocity's good. The swings and misses are there. It's not that many walks. He's given up 3 home runs this year that are 355 feet or fewer, most in the league. That's crazy. That's a very short field. and 6 or 7. I just put a YouTube video. It's going to come out tomorrow. That were 375 feet or fewer, which is 3rd most in the league, behind Bybee and Pepio. There's been a couple hilarious wall scrapers on him, like the 4th, 5th, or 6th innings. I've watched way too many Padres games where I'm just like, I know this guy has it in him. I'm ready to ride with him. Yeah, so that rumor came out today. So that's something to keep an eye out for. But I do think David Stearns is, like you said, volume over necessarily name and big hammer. Which I think is fine, honestly, based on what this bullpen needs, because we have big hammer. It's Edwin Diaz. Like, yes. I understand. I would like second hammer. Like nails. 2 hammers are better than 1 hammer, of course, in this situation. But I just think that the price for Bednar just seems like it's probably more than the Mets want to pay. Class A, I don't think is going to be on the move. Then, like, if you can get Bednar and Dennis Santana swoop in one deal, maybe that's the one that makes sense. If you give them like Ewing or like Bednar and Caleb Ferguson, is that? Yeah, that's probably because I think he did say specifically, Stearns, that they want a lefty. And we know they're checking on your boy Danny Coulomb. They are checking my boy. Who isn't checking on my boy Danny Coulomb? Every single bullpen could use a Danny Coulomb in it. But, like, give me Danny Coulomb and would they trade like Louis Varland or Cole Sands? And those guys have more team control. Griffin Jack's probably a little too expensive and also hasn't been great this season. After I made way too big of a trade for him in the Dynasty League, that was really dumb. Not even gonna tell you who I traded. Who'd you trade? It was May. I really needed a reliever. I was trying to get out from Zach Eflin. Needed a reliever. It's the only category in bad in this league. It's a categories league. So it's the only one I was losing with saves and holds. And I traded Eugenio Suarez. Oh, and I got back Kerry Carpenter. I was like, you know what? At the end of the day, I had third base depth. Carpenter and Suarez probably washed the rest of the season. Boy, was that fucking stupid. But what are you gonna do there? So maybe the Mets don't make that same mistake. But we also got some news in a great Athletic article this week by Tim Britton and Will Salmon, tag teaming it. Just a kind of a run through of everything the Mets are thinking right now. And there was a great section at the end about Mets trade chips. We've talked a lot in the last few years how the Mets just didn't have any trade chips. No. We had some really good prospects we didn't want to trade, and then a bunch of 50 layers of dirt. Now, 2 guys specifically are generating tons of buzz, and that's Jacob Reimer, who we've talked about a couple times in the show, just jumped into the top 100 list on Baseball Prospectus, and AJ Ewing, someone that we've liked a lot, showing that out of high school that he can be. Looks like he's tracking to be a major league center fielder, and is just stupid athletic. Has like 50 stolen bases with the Cyclones. those are definitely the chips that you move this time of year. Those guys, so also the pitchers that we've talked about, like Santucci and some of the other guys in that Double A staff that are still like 2 or 3 steps away from the majors. Yeah, Wenger even might be like, they might love Wenger at this point.
He's like low-key got like, I think the second best K to walk ratio in Double A baseball right now. He's got like a 34% K rate, and like a 3% walk rate. Like he's kind of like low-key getting overshadowed by Tong.
Totally, and he's the kind of prospect we love because he was a cold school guy who was also like a command fastball changeup dude, and now we've added a sinker sweeper, I think a sinker sweeper, pretty sure a sinker sweeper onto everything else. And he's just striking out the world. So he's someone who even might be elevating himself past like these kind of reliever chips that we're talking about. But the Mets have guys to trade. It is a good time to push chips in with relativity. Also, just because I'm stating the stamp right now. I want to do another trade deadline episode this week. Now it's just becoming another monster episode. I want Luis Robert.
Yeah, of course, I want him too. I never stopped wanting Luis Robert.
I 100% want Luis Robert. He's the perfect player to kick into this team. He had such a great element.
It's love at first sight when I saw him. I saw him come up for the White Sox. I'm like, that guy's got to be a Met someday.
We need a center fielder badly. Like getting Luis Robert and 2 relievers, I would then feel like good about running through the second half of the season.
I also love the idea of like having Robert around Soto and Starling Marte, which also shout out Starling Marte back.
Jackla.
Looked pretty good, yeah. And he's got the chancla instead of the OMG sign and whatever else they were rocking this year. They've now got a massive flip flop, which is also kind of sick. Marte, vibes guy, brought the vibes, and also had a good game in his return. I mean, I didn't think I'd be saying it this year, but I missed Starling Marte's bat specifically because it means that Mark Vientos doesn't have to DH every single day.
Yeah, and I mean, it's just if he's hitting, it's great. Like our issue with Starling Marte is that we didn't think he'd be able to come back and hit. He's come back and hit, so everything is perfect. I mean, in an era where no one has a high batting average, Starling Marte is a 275 batting average. Yeah. Not a batting average show, 750 OPS, but it's like nice.
750 OPS is great out of him.
It's awesome. That's an above league average hitter. Again, he's not stealing bases, can't play defense. It's still a tough roster spot, especially when you have Mark Vientos on the roster as well. But for what this team needs, Starling Marte is kind of like the uncle. It's perfect.
Yeah. Oh, he's the great. He is. He's the JD Martinez this year. He's just Latino, so that's the difference.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, JD Martinez is not Latino.
Martinez is Latino, but like Starling Martinez from the Dominican. So I think he's a little different Latino.
And again, this team needed gimmicks. This team thrives on gimmicks. So now we have the chancla, and now we've also had the Pablo Sanchez era, 4-0 in the Pablo Sanchez era. Great week to bring a couple new gimmicks into the fold because we were gimmickless, and now we have 2 new gimmicks. This is a good time for us to start rolling.
Oh, Zorg loves some gimmicks. All right, let's talk about Game 3, final thing. We talked about Alvarez home run, how awesome that swing was. Totally back. Gave us goosebumps, right? Did we mention that?
Yeah, it was Game 1, but sure.
The home run was Game 2.
Oh, yeah, the home run was Game 2. Yeah, we talked about that. And again, talking about Montas. Rico Garcia is back. Long National Nightmare is over. Ryan Stanek secured the save. Everything worked out perfectly. But yeah, Game 3, more goodness out of Sean Manaea. I think that now this is probably the last or second to last start, I think, with the training wheels on, and then we'll be able to keep moving on from there because he got through 5 and 82 pitches. Look good doing it, 2 hits again. The guy just doesn't give up hits. But whenever he does give up hits, it's right-handed hitters hitting other opposite field home runs. That seems to be now. That was sick.
Yeah, it's cool to see that he still got that.
Yeah. It was cool to see him just like lumber around the bases like nothing happened. But that was a really tough pitch to hit, and Trout's putting that out. It's a good tip to cap for one of the most forgettable players this era of baseball in the history of the game. But nice. And again, finally Francisco Lindor gets going. Thank God he finally got a hit because he was pushing Ray Ordonez for the longest over streak in Mets history. Couldn't have that be a record.
Year, though. Martinez got to over 35, I believe. Lindor got to over 30 or 31.
Disaster. OPS got to 740. It's very, very ugly. But Brandon Nimmo, leadoff homer, great game. Pete Alonso hit the longest home run I think I've seen anyone in the Mets hit this entire season. We talked a little bit about Vientos before, a lot of hard hit balls. Budo came back, looked rusty. Brooks Raley came in, looked okay with help. Edwin Diaz came in, got out of it, also with help. Nice game.
Yeah, just a little bit of help on those fires. Luis Rengifo, who struck out on 6 balls. I've never seen that before. Also, they had a hot mic, it seemed like, on the home plate umpire on SNY.
Oh, yeah.
And when he threw out the 3rd and 4th coach for the Angels in that game, it was absolutely electric. You want to go too? You're going to step on the field? See ya. You're out of here. They were right, though. Those calls were horrible.
There was a freeze frame the other guy, El Troll Met for Life, put around Twitter with Montgomery just giving the finger to the umpire.
Oh, so good.
And also, that was a great moment to just get wrong. Like, just start getting thrown out. Because those were, again, peel back the curtain. complete bullshit calls.
Bad. Like one of the worst calls.
If those happen against the Mets, I'd be at Rob Manfred's office tomorrow morning in Midtown. Like there'd be nothing stopping me from getting there. I'd be there 7 a.m. so we can get back for the Murphy interview. But it's just I would feel bad losing like that because it was multiple pitches in the same spot, none of which being strikes. Credit for Edwin Diaz for taking advantage of that spot that was being called. But at the same time, Rengifo for sure got hosed.
Yeah, absolutely hosed. Okay, so the last thing I want to talk about with this game and everything is we've seen Lindor and Alonso have been struggling. You know me, I'm obsessed with Baseball Savant. I love looking at where these guys are standing. And specifically, Pete Alonso and Francisco Lindor are doing things they've never done in their career before, things that they shouldn't be doing. Pete Alonso's pull rate has dropped a ton. Obviously, he's not hitting the ball as well as he did at the beginning of the season. And I really think a big reason, and you've noticed it feels like Pete's getting jammed a little bit. It feels like Lindor's been getting jammed a lot over that 0 for 30 stretch. Even today, like one of his hits, he got like a broken bat single barely over the shortstop's head. These guys are standing closer to the plate than they have. Pete's a full inch and a half closer than he's been all year in the last month. And he's almost 3.5 inches back further in the box than he was, which doesn't sound like the biggest of deals, but in baseball, every single inch matters, and that ball breaking a little bit deeper, Pete's hitting the ball a little bit deeper. I think that's a big reason why he's not squaring up the baseball. And the thing that really shocks me the most about Pete is that this year, something that we talked about that he was doing more this year, wasn't doing last year, hitting the ball out in front, pulling the baseball. What do you know? When he was pulling the baseball in the air, Pete Alonso was having one of the best seasons of his entire career. He stopped doing that. He's letting the ball get deeper. Right now, at the beginning of the year, he was averaging about 6 inches off the front of the plate when he was intercepting the baseball, making contact. Right now, it's 0.4. That is a 6-inch difference of where he was making contact with the baseball. And you could say, sure, he moved back 3 inches. It's only a 3-inch difference. You look at the intercept point versus center of mass, too. That's also dropped as well, which should still stay relatively even. Pete's letting the ball get way too deep. And similarly, Francisco Lindor, the ball's getting deep. He's lunging. He's jamming himself because he's way closer to the plate than he has been all year. These are little things that make me lose faith in what's going on at times, more so with the coaching staff, because I can't see this and they can't see it. That can't be possible.
And also, when we were talking about this a little bit off air, I was like, he's probably pitched differently as well. And looking at Pete Alonso's pitch percentage by month, he's seen way more fastballs since the beginning of June than he did early in the season.
Should be a great thing for a guy like Pete Alonso. Pete Alonso should be like, more fastballs? Are you serious? And he can't touch them.
Because Pete's best pitches to hit are those low breaking balls. Like, that's what he does. I don't remember the pitch he hit out on Wednesday, but I know it was low. It was a knee-high pitch. I don't remember if it was a breaking ball or fastball, but as he's seen more fastballs, his pull rate on the fastballs has dropped as well. Through April and May, the pull rate on those fastballs is about 40%. June and July, the pull rate on those fastballs is about 29%.
So bad.
That's a big drop. And also in May, these samples for these per month batted ball stuff they're a little funky because you're not going to put the requisite 60, 80, 100 balls in play to make them stable, but this is the best we have. In May, this is a crazy number. Pull rate on breaking balls was 65%. In June, 35%. Big drop as he has seen significantly less breaking balls. That is the pitch that he's seen less often in exchange for the more fastballs. Again, with the more so, actually, it's more changeups. That's kind of a weird thing. But again, changeups such a low sample. I don't even want to consider it. But again, 52% fastballs to 60% fastballs. That's the difference between May and June for Pete Alonso. So I think that pitchers are trying to crowd him and blow past him a little bit more often, then give him those breaking balls he has a chance to golf.
Yeah, it's a real shame. I thought Mets were going to be able to give Pete that bag, but he's keeps hitting like this. And go back to how you're hitting at the beginning of the year, dude. We know that Pete gets obsessed with batting average at times, which is infuriating because we know that's not the best version of Pete Alonso. If he's pulling the baseball and hitting it hard like he was at the beginning of the year, he's going to stumble into a 270 average with 45 home runs. That's what's going to get you paid, Pete. No one cares if you hit 290 with 30. That's not nearly as cool as 270 with 45.
Yeah, and now what's really going to happen is he probably just stumbles into 35, 260. And that it probably just winds up with
picking up the option and then the Mets. And then he does the same thing again. And then you go, okay, Pete, so remember how we were offering you $20 million a year? That's still the offer, and that's the best you're going to get. What do you do?
Yeah, Pete Alonso just winds up signing 1 and 2 year deals for the next 7 years to remain a Met. Oh, no.
I'm cool with it.
That'd be terrible. That'd be
Seems
so
great for
awful.
us as fans.
It's crazy. I think everybody wins in that scenario, but it's just Pete gets a little less security. I want Pete to get security, but it just does seem like that's the outcome that we're going towards here after he's really cooled off so much since the end of May.
I mean, I put out that tweet. There's like 3 guys with an OPS above 700 for the Mets. It's Baty, it was Soto, and it was Nimmo. Everybody else was well below, and Alonso was at like 640, which is pretty unacceptable.
And again, while this is all happening, I know June was a bad month. We all know that. But now we're 4 games over 500. We're 10-6 in the month of July. We have this West Coast trip coming up that's going to be a pretty important part of our schedule just because as we fight through the end of this year, the Giants and the Padres are 2 teams that we're directly fighting with for playoff spots. And those are 2 teams that we have not played yet this season. So we're seeing a couple teams for the first time. Teams with some good rotations. Teams that are, how should we describe them? Again, good baseball teams. Good baseball teams do a lot of things well, also have some holes, but they are very solid baseball teams that you have to beat if you think you deserve to be in the playoff field.
Yeah, they're very much competing for the wild card. I think the Mets are a better team than them, but that doesn't mean that team is bad by any means. Like I treat them with respect. Where when we play the Angels or teams like that, I'm like, come on, guys, like we got to beat this team. We got to beat the shit out of them. With the Padres and Giants, good baseball, we should still come out on top, in my opinion. But they're going to play good baseball. This team they're both very much in the playoff picture, and if they make some big moves, they can be even more in that playoff picture, which maybe they will.
And now, before we do get into that preview of the Giants series coming up this weekend, it's a great time for our DraftKings player spotlight heading out west, going to face the Giants. I love David Peterson this weekend against the Giants. The Giants are a team that's notoriously poor against left-handed pitching, second lowest WOBA in all of baseball against lefties. They have a very good lineup. They have an okay lineup, but they have a lineup where their best hitter, Rafael Devers, is a lefty. I like Peterson to go out west, the guy who's been the most steady, the most stable, the most reliable, the most consistent pitcher in our rotation this year, pitching on a nice Saturday evening game, a Saturday 9:05. Great game to watch for all of us out there on a Saturday night. Have a nice night in the town.
I'll be on the West Coast. I'll be in Portland. I'll be good.
You will be on the West Coast. But it's a little bit of an ace-off with David Peterson versus Robbie Ray. And I like the number we're going to see for David Peterson. I'm sure it's going to be 5.5 or 6.5 strikeouts. I'm leaning to an over, and I'm leaning to whatever over the total outs called they'll give him too.
You son of a bitch. That's where I was going.
I
was going to say my pick was going to be the over on outs for David Peterson. I'm assuming it's going to be like 18.5. They're going to be like
17.5, I was going to guess.
Yeah. But I do think like the David Peterson that we've seen, we know that he is kind of the workhorse right now of this rotation, and they do need him to go deeper into these games. And we see that he will sacrifice sometimes the strikeout stuff to be able to induce contact and get through the innings faster. I love that one. I'm all over Peterson over his outs in this appearance. Again, the Giants don't hit left-handed pitching well, and Oracle statistically is a really tough park to hit it. You just don't score too much. The one spot where you can get away with it is dead center field, where it's like 390, I think, to dead center, the shortest in all of Major League Baseball. It's a very weird design where it used to be so deep. Still have triples alley, but hitting the ball, as we know from watching the Brooklyn Cyclones, onto the ocean, onto the water, onto the bay, it's never a good thing if you're a hitter. Also, that's what makes Barry Bonds even crazier that he did it during that.
Yeah, it's kind of incomprehensible to think back and look at Barry Bonds. Just as a celebration of playing the Giants this weekend, everyone should just pull up the Barry Bonds baseball reference page, just for fun.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. But of course, guys, download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code FOUL. That's code FOUL for new customers to get $150 in bonus bets instantly when you bet just $5 only on DraftKings. The crown is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY at 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly on behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas. 21 and over. Age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/audio.
All right, James, let's clean up the rest of this series preview. We know we got Robbie Ray, David Peterson on Saturday. Who's going Friday and Sunday?
Yep, so Friday night, we're going to have Clay Holmes versus Logan Webb, 10-15 start.
A lot of sinkers.
It's going to be a sinker game. It's going to be a very annoying game. Logan Webb has
to the Worms.
RIP to the Worms out in San Francisco. Also, the weather in San Francisco this time of year is so damn weird. I haven't pulled up the weather in front of me. Maybe I will. I know our buddy Ernie's going to be at the game. I'm sure he's going to be bundled up, looking all cute in his little jacket. But that was the famous Tony Bennett line. Like the coldest winter of my life was a summer in San Francisco. It's a very bizarre place where it's hard to figure what the weather's going to be there. But so I told you guys it was David Peterson versus Robbie Ray on Saturday. Then Sunday Night Baseball, we're going to have Kodai in the mound. The Giants don't have a pitcher. as of right now. I know that I think Verlander pitched today and he won. So I guess they have a game tomorrow, and that's going to be Landon Rupp. So I do guess they actually don't have a fifth guy in their rotation right now coming out of the All-Star break. So if I had to guess, that could be Carson Seymour. That could be Sean Jelly.
Former Met Carson Seymour?
Former Met Carson Seymour made it all the way to the show. Maybe that could be the major league debut of Carson Wisenhunt. Maybe Keaton Wynn, who's already on the 40-man roster, gets called up for that, because that was Hayden Burnsong's spot, who they just sent down to the minor leagues. So the Giants team is a good team. They got hot at the beginning of the year, and they've been kind of cold since the middle, oddly since the Rafael Devers trade, which is kind of funny how that works out.
They've been hot, though, this last 3 days. They're swinging good bats right now, especially Devers.
Well, I mean, they crushed the Braves. The Braves have minor league pitchers left and right, so I don't know what that really counts
Griffin
for.
Canning this year, huh?
Could have really used Griffin Canning this year. But the Giants are a good, sturdy baseball team. Like, they're a team that I would say, from watching a good bit of them this season, plays good baseball. Also, we have a couple former Mets that were fan favorites on this Giants team. I'm sure we're going to have a lot of content about in the next few days. First off, of course, Wilmer Flores, blazing start to the season, really came back crashing down to earth of late, but just maybe he's still a good hitter, Wilmer Flores. Also, Dom Smith is getting regular reps in this Giants team. He's actually about to lose his spot because Rafael Devers has finally started to play first base, but Dom Smith has played a legitimate amount of first base for the Giants this season. Also, he's 30 years old now, which makes me want to cry.
That one hurts, Dom Smith being 30 years old. Some other guys on this team to look out for. Willie Adames has had a slow start to the season, but he's been unbelievably hot recently. I think he's hit 6 or 7 home runs in the month of July, which is crazy. Matt Chapman, stud at third base, hitting the ball hard as he always does. Elliot Ramos is a legitimate power threat. This team is weird for sure, especially offensively. Having Rafael Devers does help a lot. The one thing about this team that you got to be careful about, you can't let them get an early lead. You can't let them get to that bullpen with a lead, because that bullpen is absolute fucking dynamite right now.
The funny thing about this Giants team is you can clearly see that half it was built by Farhan Zaidi, who's like the analytics mastermind, and the other half it was built by Buster Posey, who's just like put bat in hand, hit ball far. Like, it's honestly a great blend. I feel like I kind of love that conceptually, where it's like you get some guys who are like, we're here for the analytics, and you get some guys that are here for the vibes, because it kind of then makes what a baseball team kind of is and should feel like. But that bullpen is disgusting for the Giants. Ryan Walker came into the year as their closer. He was kind of like a buzzy closer heading into the year after a really good end of the season last year. He sucked. You kind of hate sinker. You kind of hate silent sinker closers who throw 94 miles an hour. That's what Walker is. But Camilo Doval, the demon, has taken that closer's role back. But he's pushed every single day by another demon, Randy Rodriguez, who's just. If you guys saw him blow the game in the All-Star, give a bunch of runs in the All-Star game, that's not a fair estimation of who he is as a pitcher, because he's an animal, upper 90s, disgusting slider. They still have Tyler Rogers throwing the ball underhand from like rubbing his hand in the dirt on the mound, and then, oddly enough, a new lefty specialist, a new shutdown middle innings reliever has emerged in the San Francisco Giants. I buried the lead before. It's another former Met. It's a beloved figure. It's a former guest of the Mets'd podcast. It's Joey Lucchesi, Mr. Churv. It makes me a little bit upset every single day that Joey Lucchesi could have been the lefty this Mets bullpen wanted and needs, but he's doing it for the San Francisco Giants instead, where he had that amazing start a few years ago when he struck out like 10 guys on a random Thursday or Tuesday night, or Friday night in San Francisco.
Love Joey Lucchesi. Love Joey Fuego. He was such a nice guy, too. I've interviewed him twice. I interviewed him on my own and then with the Mets'd podcast. And I'll still never forget when we were asking him, how do you throw the curve? And he could not explain it to us without holding a baseball in his hand. He's like, I need a baseball right now.
And we had one.
We had one. We gave it to him. He's like, I don't know. I'm not sure. And then he was like trying to show us. And then what was the question we asked him? If you weren't a baseball player, what would you be? He said an engineer. Yeah,
we were asking a question to every single player that we interviewed that year. And yeah, Joey Lucchesi said he'd be an engineer. But he froze for about 40 seconds before answering it. Just letting us know that there's nothing else he wants to be besides a baseball player.
Which is about right. Also, the other question that we had to throw away when we asked him, who would you want to fight with you in a zombie apocalypse? Him and every other Met player during that we had to cut. Tommy Pham, instant answer.
Which is the right answer. But Lucchesi now moving to like a single inning relief arm. He's pitching 13 games this year, 14 innings. He's got a 31% strikeout rate, 3% walk rate, 61% ground ball rate. He's literally, just by adding like 2 miles an hour to his fastball, but still just going churf, 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 it's turned him into like an actual. We need to get past 20 innings to actually call him a shutdown reliever. But Joey Lucchesi might have just completely reinvented himself for the second part of his career as a legit lefty stud out of the bullpen. It's at the end of the day, I'm just so fucking happy for the guy. It's awesome.
Yeah, I hope we shit on him this weekend, but probably.
Yeah, what are you gonna do? And otherwise, again, this series, I don't think we're going to see Landon Rupp. I'm pretty sure he's pitching Thursday, but I'm going to double check their schedule right now. He's kind of been a godsend for that team in the rotation. Coming a bit out of nowhere, has dealt with a lot of injuries, has a weird-ass curveball and a really good sinker.
Landon Rupp pitched on the 22nd, so he might pitch.
Okay, he might pitch in the last game of that series. He could just move up a day
Roop.
if they have it. No, it's Rupp.
Baseball references tell me it's Roop.
Is it really? I've been saying his name wrong all season then.
R-O-O-P, Roop.
Roop? All right, Landon Roop. My bad. Big mistake on that one. I said his name hundreds of times on my
That's
YouTube
about right
channel
for you,
incorrectly. Yeah, I mean, I got the stuff. Sometimes I don't have the names, but that's bad. I got to get the names. But he's been really good. Really weird. Good story, though. It's just he puts a lot of guys on base and gets out of every single jam. And they also still have the corpse of Justin Verlander just throwing nothing in the back of that rotation. Nothing at all.
Did he get his first win?
He did. He got the first win, I think, in 19 starts.
Yeah, Justin Verlander.
On Wednesday. And then otherwise, just other guys in the team. Jung Hoo Lee started the year blazing hot, has really crashed back down to earth. Still a good baseball player.
Totally
but
fine,
I think when people were thinking that Jung Hoo Lee was like the second coming, they were like, all right, you guys got to chill out a little bit because he's just fine. He's now just barely dragging his way to a 700 OPS. Otherwise, besides him, Patrick Bailey, incredible defensive player.
He's an incredible defensive player. He's
incredible
probably the
defensive
best
player.
defensive catcher in baseball.
Andrew Kisner, who I'm pretty sure was part of the trade for Paul Goldschmidt back in the day, if I remember right. No, I'm thinking Carson Kelly. What's wrong with me?
Carson Kelly,
he's the one who
Andy
stayed
Thomas,
back.
and Luke Weaver.
That was it. Yeah, never mind. And then Casey Schmidt, another really good defensive player. They're trying to Brett Beatty, Casey Schmidt. He's nowhere near the offensive ceiling, but they've just moved him to second base to get him on the field because Matt Chapman's a great player at third. Chapman also got hit by a pitch on Wednesday and left the game. X-rays are negative, but maybe he can miss a game this series.
Oh my God, crossing the fingers.
I mean, I know he's okay. I don't want anything bad to happen to him, but I would like one game without Matt Chapman.
I mean, it would definitely help us a lot. But yeah, that's the Giants series preview, guys. We're recording a Daniel Murphy episode. When you're listening to this, it will be recorded or done, hopefully, by the time that happens. And it will come out either Friday or Saturday. So make sure you subscribe to the Mets'd Podcast YouTube channel to see that. If you're listening to us, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google, drop us a rating, drop us a review, download, and subscribe. James is loading up Frankie Peppers. Shout out to, I got to find the guy who tweeted. He put out a little Frankie Peppers.
Ben Steinberg.
Oh, yeah, Ben Steinberg, absolute legend. Put out a little Frankie Peppers meme. I'll put it on the screen right now for you guys so you can see it at home. I'll tell you what, never in my life thought that Frankie Peppers would be getting memes on the internet, but I absolutely love it.
Frankie Peppers is a cult hero, and like that's all. I'm happy that he's made himself available to us because it's one of the best parts of again these long ass episodes. We can get to Frankie Peppers at the end, but it's kind of just like dessert after a great meal. But here you guys go, Frankie Peppers after a series sweep. Where's Frankie? Where's Frankie?
Difficulties. What's going on?
I don't know. I don't hear him. Am I connected to Bluetooth?
Are you connected to Blue? I'm leaving this in. This is elite podcasting. What's going on here?
It's not playing. I don't know.
What do you mean you don't know?
I have no idea. I'm clicking play. Nothing's happening.
I'm putting up technical.
Frankie Peppers, how you doing? A sweep is a sweep. Got nothing more to say. We were looking good. I'm pretty pleased with that, and I'm also pretty pleased to say I just killed a spotted lanternfly. So you should kill spotted lanternflies when they see them, and you should look up what a tree of heaven is, because like everybody's got them, and you need to like pull them because they that's where they live. It's really bad. So that's your environment lesson today, boys. And with that, I'm gonna get going because I'm at work. Let's go, Mets. Take care.
I love that. Get rid of trees of heaven. Kill spotted lanternflies. I fucking hated those things when they were invading New York City. That shit was nasty.
Well, now that all the babies are around, they're everywhere. Have you not seen them?
I haven't seen any.
They're those tiny little spotted jumping bugs. They're everywhere.
Haven't seen them yet, but
I spend half of my time on my runs just stomping them out.
Yeah, I mean,
doing our part.
Invasive species.
Yes, invasive species. Shout out Frankie Peppers for the sustainability message.
Yes, and that's it. Thank you guys for listening. Thank you for watching. Follow James on social media at
James Shiano.
I'm Draft Mark with a C. We will catch you guys all a little bit later, maybe tomorrow. Daniel Murphy is coming on the pod. See you guys then. Peace out.
Peace out, guys. Let's go Mets.